go. Good morning. Good morning. We are here for morning meditations. We are journeying from Resurrection Sunday to Pentecost. We're looking at God encounters, Jesus encounters. We're looking at Jesus conversations, Jesus words, and sharing all of that to get our hearts ready to move into His Ascension. To talk about what that ascension meant for us. And so right now, I am going on and I am sharing. All right, we got that part done. Let's see. I am sharing this, and I ask you to share this with someone as well. I always forget to turn my volume down, so I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Share. Here we go. And share. Do one more just because I can. One more share, y'all. But we're going to be taking that trip, like I said, from Resurrection Sunday to Pentecost. We're going to look at conversations, encounters. We're going to look at modern day encounters. A lot of times we believe or we think that Jesus is not still showing up, that he's not talking to people today. But I'm here to tell you, most of us, all of us who say that we are Christians, who say we are Jesus followers, we've had at least one Jesus encounter. So come on with me. We've talked about Mary. We've talked about Thomas. We've talked about the two disciples. Cleophas was one of them on the road to Emmaus, and how they didn't recognize Jesus. And he was having a conversation with them. They even said, "Who are you? Don't you know what's going on around here?" I love us, y'all. I love us. And when Jesus revealed himself, they were filled with joy and they went to tell somebody about it. Have you started to notice the common thread that's happening after each Jesus encounter? When he reveals himself to them, they recognize him and then they go and tell somebody. So anyway, we're only going to be here for a few minutes every morning. 5 to 7 minutes is my promise to you. And I'll get you in and get you out on your day, because I believe that what Jesus is doing is worth listening to, looking into, and investigating. And so let's go. Today, we're talking about the 11 disciples. The 11 disciples, okay? We've talked about 2 of them. We've talked about one of them by herself. But we want to look at when he appeared to the 11 disciples, where was their heart and where was their mind? And so let's look. And today I chose to use the setting that he appeared to them out of the book of Mark. Tell you a little bit about Mark. Mark was not a disciple. Contrary to a lot of people's thoughts and belief, Mark came on board and began to work with Paul, and he also worked at one point with Peter. But it's also believed that he was the one that was following Jesus to crucifixion. And they say he had on a loincloth and some people captured him and he went running away. I don't know, but I do know this. Mark was an evangelist and he was short on words. And when I look at his account, I always kind of giggle because I'm like, he reminds me of myself. I've done all this research because I'm sure he had to talk to so many people to get this information. You've done all your research, but then you procrastinate on writing your paper and then you try to write it all at once. Yeah. So that's why Mark's gospel is short, is compact, is straight to the point. But here he talks about the encounter of the disciples with Jesus after the resurrection. And he says later Jesus appeared to the 11. This is after he appeared to Mary and after he appeared to the ones on the road to Emmaus. Because then later Jesus appeared to the 11 as they were eating. He rebuked them for they lacked faith and their stubborn refusal to believe who had seen him before after he was risen. And he said to them, go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who believe. In my name, they shall drive out demons. They shall speak with new tongues. He goes on, he says, and they will pick up snakes with their hands, and when they will have deadly drinks, and they won't hurt them. And after the Lord had spoken to them, he was taken up into heaven. So Mark just gets straight to the point. Mark's like, look, he appeared to them. They didn't believe him. He just fussed at them a little bit. And then he told them what they were going to do. You are going to go and preach and teach in my name. And they believed him at some point. When they believed him, he went up into heaven. But then, this is the piece. Then the disciples went out and preached everywhere. And the Lord worked with them and confirmed his word by the signs that accompanied it. So what I want to drive home to you is that at first, the disciples didn't believe. When Mary came running to tell them, when the women came to tell them, they went to the tomb themselves. They looked in, they didn't see him. They, were waiting for their encounter. And he comes to them. And according to Mark, he chastised them a little bit. And then he tells them what they are expected to do. So the encounter happens. Of course, they've been grieving. Of course, they felt lonely and alone. And then all of a sudden, they see Jesus for themselves. He tells them what they need to do. This is the part that just gets me every time. Then the disciples went out and preached everywhere. And the Lord worked with them and confirmed his words by signs that accompanied it. Maybe you're a little bit like the disciple. I am. Like, yeah, Mary, I know that you loved him and he talked to you. I understand. I want to see him too. And so they saw him, and when they did, he gave them the word, and they went forth, and they preached, and they taught the gospel of Christ in the world. I hope you have a great day today. And as you encounter Jesus, that you will believe him and that you will go and spread the word everywhere you go, through lifestyle and through word. So through deed and word. Have a great day. You life changer. You have the ability to bring others into the kingdom of God. So I'm going to go and be like Mark, because I got a paper to write too. I've been doing the research, but I waited a little late to write my paper, so I got to do like him now. I got to wrap it up. I love you guys, and I love how you love me. Have an amazing day. Let's go.